what is site reliability engineer, what is DevOps engineer, what is platform engineer, what is CI/CD engineer, what is cloud engineer, right? So you have asked me this question: why so many different terms, such kind of terms exist? And a person who is studying in a college, who is studying in the third year of college, he's still inside the college. But when he wants to try to understand, what these terms are, he's getting confused, and he's not able to connect where is he or she today versus when he sees a job back in Mountain View in California and United States, and see in Charles de Gaulle in somewhere in Paris, or see in People Square in Shanghai, or see in Gangnam in Seoul in South Korea. So, or see in Sydney, Australia, or see in Gurgaon, India, or Bangalore, India. He sees set up a company, he see, site reliability engineering, he see DevOps engineering, he see cloud engineering, and back in when sitting, he's in college. So he's asking or she's asking a question to me where to start. See, I can definitely, I'm going to answer with you, but that answer will not quickly match with your understanding. That's an example, site reliability engineering. I see this term first time, it came from Google. They want wherever they have deployed their Google search system, from where, somebody's querying from Google dashboard or Google UI, right? Google website, and asking a query and result is coming. They want their system to be reliable. Reliable means 100%, 100% every time available. You type every time Google, every time you get result. Tell me anytime when you see that Google say we are in work, we are in maintenance mode, we are in something like that, right? And they call it that specific job as a site reliability engineer. There's another job, DevOps, developer operations. So in this cloud solutioning development work, when a specific solution, call it like a Gmail application, you can open in your browser, or a specific bank application, let's say ICICI Bank, you open in your browser. So that is kind of behind the scene. There's a full stack engineering involved to development to that specific solution. And then the set of practices, industrial practices got developed. In that specific practices, developer do their job, product manager do their job, that different kind of full stack engineering team do their job, and they all together work together and develop a solution. And in that specific solution, there are key people, we call it developer operations. They help developers so they can deploy their solution to the cloud, right? So it is very abstract, very high level, right? So at this stage, right, because you will not easily understand even looking onto the YouTube to get to match the answer which your mind is looking for. You know what is the reason? The reason is, I just believe, right, how you should progress. You shouldn't answer this just maybe today, but you need to progress to understand that answer. What that means is, once you are in grade 1 or 2, you study plus, minus, multiply, divide, right? Nobody tells you from where these symbols came. Who made this plus symbol? Who made this minus symbol? Who made this multiply symbol, right? You just do multiplication. And then you progress class 2, class 3, class 4. You go to algebraic equations, trigonometric equation, and you go through further, right? But once you are in your professional education, you can't wait. You need to run fast. As an example, can you answer me today how TCP/IP works? Can you answer me today what the TCP, transmission control protocol, state machine? Can you answer me today how TCP/IP stack works? TCP/IP stack have different layers. TCP, transmission control protocol, user datagram protocol. Then there's the internet protocol. Then there's the address resolution protocol. Then there's something internet control message protocol. Correct? Whole world of internet works in transmission control protocol. All the website. Correct? You would have studied what is the difference between TCP and UDP. Have you ever looked by yourself what TCP/IP stack means, how it integrated with operating system, how basically one TCP/IP stack talk with another TCP/IP stack, what those layers mean? So what I'm trying to tell you is, getting the answer of a specific question also depends where your mindset is. If you're trying to understand something which you have looked, just like from news, from friends or something, but if you figure out where you are and where is, the pathway to a specific job or specific profession, right? So that pathway you need to figure out by talking with professional like me, and by analyzing yourself, validating whether your pathway is correct or not, something like that. So coming back to your point, when you ask me what are the meaning of these different roles, see, I try to explain in a quick way, but I would suggest you at this stage where you are, your step 1, if you look into the GetPost Labs website and look into a platform engineering pages, I written 9 articles, and first article, one of the article is network fundamentals, right? If you really understand what a network fundamental is, because on top of network fundamental, this all cloud works. You need to go back to the history, right? From before 2010, there was no cloud. Companies have their own system they deploy on computers. There was more concept of LAN, WAN, those kind of things, right? Go back to the history of this networking, from where TCP/IP and this networks, SSH, all these things came, and then see why a specific solution get deployed to cloud, and when it is deployed, what kind of infrastructure they have, what kind of computers they have, something like that. So it is basically a pathway which you need to follow on your cloud engineering, and I would keep helping you to reach to that pathway, right? So for now, the step 1. I would suggest you must have strong networking fundamentals understanding. Just that step 1. First, finish the step 1 and be proud that you really have that understanding. If you are going to the IP address, you must understand what different classes of IP addresses are, how IP address convert to MAC address. If you would like to see when IP address goes from one location, from your college to Google server, which pathway to use. In that pathway, what includes in the IP headers, right? You need to experiment it. If you don't understand it, you need to understand what the standard behind it, right? There's a standard, we call it RFC, request for comment, which is developed by, I think, International Engineering Task Force, ITF, who is responsible for that, for the standard. They are author for it. Write to those authors, write to those professionals, right? So it's not very quick. It has under the hood work involved. It has under the hood reaching to people involved, right? So you still need to reach out to the people. You still reach out to to the professionals. You still need to reach out to specifically with your friends who are working in this area. With all these information, when you compile, then you progress. Every day you need to work in that discipline that you are progressing. And look into my articles, which I have written on GetPost Labs website. Start with network fundamentals. But anyway, I will keep in touch with you and give you more answers. So that is for my answer for now. Yeah, I will be keep explaining more in the next sessions. Feel free, comment, and tell me like if there's anything else I got missed out. Yeah, that's it for the day. And have a good day. We'll connect again. Thank you. Bye.